A short set of presentations will set the scene and provide data from different studies and reports, experiences looking at how the new regulatory MDR, IVDR framework is impacting medtech SMEs and the innovation accessibility in Europe.
So the title of our study is on regulatory governance and innovation in the field of medical devices. Oh no, that's actually, yeah, that's our study. So what are we looking at in our study? Does it work? No? The green? The green, of course. The biggest one, of course. Sorry. Yeah, the background of the study we all know, I think, so the introduction of the MDR and the IVDR. And of course, we've all seen the challenges linked to the introduction of these two new regulations. The idea behind the study was that we look at more at the governance structure that is that came with the introduction of the two new regulations, and to see what is challenging about this new governance structure, and how that is linked, or maybe we can find a bit more a better way of implementing it to make sure that the new regulations actually come in a more effective way into force. So the key objectives of our study was to map key benefits also and challenges of the regulatory governance structure, and to look at the impact also on innovation that we are maybe facing with these new regulations. The study also wants to provide a bit of input for the upcoming evaluation. However, the evaluation is still far away, so we are actually also looking into how our findings maybe can optimize the current framework without changing actually the regulations, because that's not under discussion for the moment. So we focus on assessing the governance structure, which means really how the regulation is implemented, so how are the MDCG working, the expert panels, etc., that are linked to the implementation, and analyze if its application contributing to meeting the objectives of the actual regulation. Okay, so the research questions we have in our study are 6 in total. First of all, we've been looking at what is the state of play. We don't know. Do I need to change? Okay, now my hands are full. Is this better? Yes. Okay. So, research questions. So we have 6 in total. First of all, we've been looking at the state of play. So you cannot study anything without knowing where we are at the moment. And then the next 2 questions we've been really focusing on is the governance structure. Has it currently actually been effective in meeting the objectives of the regulations, and is it also done in a most efficient way? Then 4th research question is really focusing on the innovation capacity. So is there any identified benefits and challenges that impact the innovation capacity and competitiveness of the medical devices and IVD devices industry in the EU? And then 5th, which is also important to look at, of course, is what is the impact on patient safety, because that has been the reason to implement these new regulations. And then finally, in the study, we are also looking a bit further than the EU. We've been also doing a benchmarking exercise to see how the EU regulatory framework is actually comparing with other systems around the world. Now, very quickly, so geographical scope, we've took EU27, and we are also looking a bit further behind to see what's happening in the rest of the world. We've been interviewing, surveying a various key actors in the field. And we started in April 2023. It's an 18-month project, so we are close to finalize, but still not there, to be seen. So what have we been doing? We conducted an online survey, we did targeted interviews, we did some thematic workshops, and some consultation workshops also with various stakeholders. And then I would like to focus quickly on the results on impact on innovation, because we want to keep it short. So these are really preliminary findings, so we are still triangulating data, as we say it also nicely. So these are really the findings we had based on the survey, based on the interviews, but we are still now bringing everything together, so it's really preliminary. So what we've seen, there is really a consensus that there has been challenging for the industry to deal with the stricter requirements of the regulation. Of course, it's not so surprising. That happens with every regulation that is being introduced. But the findings suggest a potential negative effect of the regulation on innovation. So a large share of economic operators report they have postponed or cancelled the introduction of the new devices. Also some figures from the previous study showed this. What we've seen from the survey is that this is often linked to an increase in administrative burden and the length of the process. But there is also a lack of preparedness and resistance to change in the industry. And actually, that's also a bit confirmed with the previous data, that we see that we're still more than 20% is not there yet to make changes. What we've also seen is that there is a disproportionate impact on SMEs. So probably linked to the administrative burden that there is, which is more difficult to cope with, of course, by SMEs. And there is a clear call for more predictable, simpler, and better tailored innovation-friendly regulatory approach. So these are the general. So just to look into some figures from the survey, one of the questions we asked was, based on your experience, to what extent does the regulations contribute to achieve the placing on the market of innovative devices and reduce the time to market for new devices? And there you see the results are really clearly negative. Huh? So it has really had no impact at all. That's the largest percentage that answered this answer option. So it's a very striking result, I think. Yes.
I ask you to.
Yes, I'll go quickly. So.
2 minutes of my talk.
Okay. Yes, of course.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect.
Bargaining going on here.
Just one other question we asked in the survey. So, in your experience, which of the following are the key regulatory barriers for the industry? And there you really see administrative burden at the top, followed by the length of the process and the data requirements that are needed. So it's all linked to really the process itself, so providing the right data and the unpredictability of the process. Very quickly, here are the same results on this question, but divided up for the different stakeholders. And actually, you see a general agreement across all the stakeholders that this administrative burden is really important. Notified bodies have, of course, a slightly different accent here, so the uncertainty and unpredictability is for them important. I'm going to skip this one. Just some key problems identified from the interviews. So trade organizations highlight that the time and effort is really high that is required. And then for the orphan devices, this is really a complicated exercise as it has a lot of costs. which outweighs the potential returns as well. So yeah, it gives a bit of a general impression. Of course, we're still fully in analyzing all the data and preparing the report, but it gives you already a bit of preliminary insights. Yeah, so this is a bit of an overview. I'll stop here.
Thank you very much.